All right. I made a mistake on the first one. This is part 2 of episode 219, not 218. I fucked up on that one. But like always, make sure you like, subscribe, comment, rate. We're on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. Check us out on our socials at No Hangover Podcast on Instagram and at No_Hangover on TikTok. So let's get right into this. We got guest number 2 for today. KT shit. And go ahead and introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
I am KT. I go by KTGODUMB. You know, I'm from Cleveland, Ohio. I've been in this music game about 6 years now. I started off producing, and then the last couple of years I had just started getting into rapping. Like I dropped my first EP last year, and I've been dropping singles ever since.
So before we get into how you got into rapping, what got you into music and more so, I guess, producing music and being on that side of it?
So I feel like music's always been a part of my life. I mean, it's always been like, I would grow up listening to radio. You know, I listened to a lot of pop radio growing up. You know, I listen to Drake, Future, guys like that, bunch of pop. I feel like, to me, the thing that always brought me to music was the production. I always liked the way that a beat sounded. I'll tell you, like, I didn't know what a snare, 808 or none of that was at first, but I'm like, man, this shit is sick. So it just got to a point, like, I would say, like, right when I got to college, I just got to thinking, like, man, like, how do people do this stuff? Because, by that time, like, I was, like, I was on Drake and them at the time. I didn't know about, people like Lil Uzi. The SoundCloud era was just coming up. And, like, that was, like, different to me. So I just got to saying, like, man, I want to make some stuff like that. You know, and then I had a homie in college. He had just told me, like, yeah, bro, you could just do this off of GarageBand. Like,
for real.
Yeah, and I'm like, it was free too. So I'm like, oh, bet. Like,
even better.
I hopped on that so quickly, bro. I hopped on it so quickly, and then it was up from there, man. Like, I just got to making beats every day, bro, all the time. It's like, with me, like, I wasn't really, like I said, I ain't really know what everything was. So it's just like, at first, like, I just kind of it felt like I was just putting stuff together. But then over time, like, just seeing the progression and then seeing, like, oh, all right, this make this flow better. And it's just like, it's a crazy experience.
Yeah, like finding the nuance of things. I think that's what attracts me to, like, production and, like, beat making and, like, listening to that type of stuff too. Because yes, like, bars and having the right type of voice and the right type of vibe, that's definitely part of it. But, like, I feel like a well-produced beat lifts up an artist more than hot bars lifts up a producer in the beat, if that makes sense. Like, I feel like if you have a fucking fire-ass production, fire-ass beat, you can get, like, someone who's mid on there and make them sound like they're fucking the best. So, that to me, that's, I'm definitely a big fan of, just the nuance and the intricacy and all the shit that goes into it, that goes into making a beat and shit like that. So, so you started with the production, the beat making. What got you into, starting to rap? Like, was it just kind of like, fuck it, I've been doing this, I've heard some of the people that are out here and I think I could do better? Or
I mean, I'll be honest, bro, like, I didn't want to rap at first. I was like, rapping was not in my, like, I was like, I'm about to be the hardest producer in the city ever. Like, that was fine and all, but it's just like, really. And it's even funnier because I also got into production because, like, in college, it was these guys I would hang around with, and it was always like some, like, I used to play sports and stuff, and we would always have some, like, bus freestyles, it wasn't never no crazy bars, but it was like some simple bars to make people laugh. But it's just like, I started hanging with these dudes, bro. Like, we got to smoking a couple times. Like, I swear, like, I always remember, like, I fell asleep and then I woke up and I'm thinking the radio playing. These two dudes freestyle. I'm like, oh, like, they rapping the whole song, and it's just like, it just turned into, like, we would just, hotbox, and, like, they would freestyle, and, like, that was just the craziest shit ever to me because I ain't never heard nobody put no words together like that. And it's just like, me, like, I couldn't rap like that. I told myself, like, man, I can't do it. Like, I done tried, and I'm just like, I can't do it. But it's just like, it was something in me. It's just like, bro, like I wanted to learn how to freestyle at first, and it's just like that's really how it started. Like I would just practice like freestyling, like I would just work on that, just putting words together, figuring out flows, and it's like, yeah, at first like it wasn't nothing. Like I could say, like I done made some trash before, but I mean, we all as artists we make trash. Yeah. But I just started getting better and better, and it's just like, you know, I started putting flows and my rhymes together, and it's just like I started making my own songs at one point, and it's just like I wasn't really dropping it or releasing them, but I was just making songs for fun at that point. Yeah. That was really that, and then it was really when people started taking me more serious as a producer, like people would start coming to me trying to record. Yeah, that's when I started, you know. I started thinking about rapping a little bit because dudes would ask me for features and I would look around like I'm just a producer. That ain't me. I'm just a producer, man. But it's just like, you know, some of the people that came through with some fire, I'm like, man, I don't know. Like, let me try something, man. It's just like I got my homeboy Titanic. Shout out Lurstink, Titanic. Hey. That was really like, he was really the one that got me, like, he pushed me to like rap more. Cause it's like, I feel like I never wanted to be, I didn't want, like, even if I did rap, I told myself, like, I'm not going to be no gangster ass, you know, guns that, like, that's not me. Like, I didn't grow up like that. Like, I wanted to rap about something real and, you know, just, you know, speak from my heart. And, you know, he was somebody that really pushed that out of me and is, like, really, like, motivated me to, like, put my word out there. And, you know, I'm forever grateful for that, you know, his word. But I feel like, you know, that really, like, it was up from there, and it's just like I always just told myself, you know, that like I'm gonna speak my mind, I'm gonna speak my heart, you know, I'm gonna speak what I feel is real. I think that's what's important, you know. Just putting out my authentic image. You know, I just know like this type of stuff, like it's gonna come with time, you know, as long as I'm speaking my authentic truth, my authentic self, you know, my authentic vision, like shit's gonna come. So
nah, for sure. So do you produce everything you rap on, or you be getting other producers and beat makers and getting on their shit? Or you just like a one-stop shop, you just do everything yourself?
I mean, shoot, yeah, like I do everything myself. Like if I have like I say like I produce everything I make. You know, it's really like I hop on a couple YouTube beats or other producers beats. I will, depending. But a lot of what I do is mainly me, even recording. And I would say recording is really the only thing. Like I would go to a studio and have somebody else record that. But I just prefer to do it all myself.
I mean, shit, if you can, might as well, right? I mean, I feel like that takes out a lot of fucking bullshit in the process of having to wait on somebody else. And, you know, I mean, especially like, you know what you're looking for and you know what kind of like what you're trying to put out there. So it's like, you don't have to explain that to somebody else. You just have to do it yourself and create that shit your own. And you already know what you're looking for. You already know what you got to go to. You already like, so you know, the vibe and the mood that you want, you already know. So might as well just fucking, why go to somebody else and do that shit?
I like being in the driver's seat for real. That's just my motto.
Hey, as you should, because, you know, people will try and fucking, I don't know. People be grimy sometimes. Trying to fucking, I don't know, be, I guess, like jealousy or like, you know, hating ass motherfuckers, especially in music. I feel like for as much as like, as a collaborative effort it is, like you find some hating ass motherfuckers in music.
I feel like it's just like, it's always a thing of ego. Like, it's just always going to be ego. It's always going to be somebody where it's like, well, this is harder than this. You know, I'm harder than you. And it's just like, I get it, like, you know, especially in hip hop, it's a competitive nature. Yeah. But it's just like sometimes I feel like I don't know if it's like individuality, but just one to be like, maybe it's a little bit of individuality, but also just like people want to be like, I'm the one, you know, this is my thing, you know, can't nobody else take that. And that's understandable, but it's still like, to me, it's like I feel people selfish. People just straight up selfish, you know. And I can say, speaking as a producer and an artist, like, you know, it's hard out here. People are grimy, and it's just like I feel like that's what it's kind of like a domino effect to me, because it's like, you know, people grimy, and then, you know, like a young producer or artist, you know, they'll get done grimy and they'll think to themselves like, all right, you know, I gotta act like this just to make my way up. And it's just like, really, that's not always the case. It's just always like you gotta sometimes it's like you gotta do your research with things too, because it's like I feel like people be too excited, and then they don't really see things through. They don't really think to themselves like, okay, is this something legit? Is this something I could trust? And I mean, it's hard out here. Like it's hard. Like it's young artists out here, young excited artists and producers just trying to find opportunities, this and that, and it's just like it's just that easy to like finesse somebody like that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
getting too ahead of yourself sometimes, and it's easy to get taken advantage of that way.
I mean, sometimes I feel like that's why it's always like people always say like have a team behind you. Like I think that's important. Like I mean, people want to move dolo out here. It's just like you really got to be on your shit to move solo like that.
For real, yeah.
Honest to God, I feel like young artists is like they definitely like they should focus more on building a team up, building up a group of people around them that's like. That's on the same goals
that you can trust too.
Exactly.
Yeah, that got your back. Kind of have some, y'all got each other's back and have each other's best interest more than anything. I mean, because I feel the same way. I feel like with anything in life, people want to. I did it all on my own, self-made. But whoever tells you that bullshit is just that. It's full of shit. Like most successful rich people have a support system or the right people around them that are, gonna help them get to that next level and shit like that. And, it's no different in music. So, I mean, but speaking of teams, I mean, part one was with Spazzo. How did y'all kind of click up and meet up and kind of, get to this point where you guys are, moving together as one, as a team?
So he had Spazzo actually he had reached out to me on Instagram. He was actually trying to do an interview with me at first because he had came across me. He said, he had noticed that I was a smaller producer. My numbers was cool. I had the talent, but I just didn't have the attention. And he had just came through and he said, I want to be able to like boost you. I want to get you out in the right audiences. And I feel like from there, like we just, it just clicked instantly. I remember like the first conversation we had, it's just like, I could just tell like, this is somebody who he's not on no bullshit. He's on some real things. He's got a real goal. He got a real drive to what he do. And I'm like, he's somebody who's serious. He's not somebody who's going to sit here and, talk a good game and then waste my time. Like he actually, putting in work type shit, which I admire from him. And, he, like I could say, like he's definitely been somebody like I could say, he's a mentor to me. Yeah. He looked out for me in many situations. He done helped me improve my sound. He done helped me like push myself out there more as an artist too. Like I would say, like, I give credit to him. Like he's somebody who wanted to like, he got me, like he motivated me to like push myself further, and even that, like what he do, like it motivates me to like want to be better just not even just for him, but like just the whole team thing we got going on too. Cause like we got a whole team we building back at home, and it's just like honestly, like I think we building big things. We on to some big things, and it's just like I just gotta stay on my P's and Q's. That's people like this in my corner, having people like that in my corner, it drives me to stay on my P's and Q's. Like get to the top, get everybody to the top with me.
I feel like it makes it easier too to like try new shit and like do different shit when you got people behind you that if it doesn't necessarily work out how you want to, or you kind of like fall on your face a little bit, you got people that are gonna pick you up and kind of to all right, bet fucked up here, but next thing's gonna be it's gonna be better. We can learn from this shit. Something that I have noticed with certain people or artists that I talk to, that have played sports, there's that correlation. You mentioned that, especially in rap, hip hop is competitive. There is that competitive aspect to it. Do you feel like playing sports kind of has helped you, I guess, deal with that part of it and not take it so personal?
Definitely. I mean, it's really the same thing. Like, if I'm being honest, it's the same thing. Like, granted, like, it's like you could look at it in different ways. Like it's individual sports, like track and wrestling. Track, for instance, I ran track. Like everybody got their own lane, everybody got their own race. It's like whoever make it to the finish line, make it to the finish line. But you know, we got their own lane. You know, wrestling is just like, I look at wrestling kind of like, you know, like a rap battle in a way, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Even like football, but it's just like stuff like that. Like, you know, especially in sports, like it's very competitive. People be like, folks just be aggressive. Folks, bro, people be crazy out there, and it's just like people will like say, do whatever, try to get in your head, try to get you off the game, because it's like, you know, you're trying to win.
Yeah,
everybody trying to win. So it's just like, honestly, you know, playing sports, like definitely like, because it's the same mentality. It's all a game for real. So it's just like, if you're head in the game, then it's just like you'll be straight for real.
Yeah. Yeah, it definitely is. You know, everyone's trying to go for that number one spot, but there's only one of those spots. So, you know, when you got fucking, you know, thousands of people going, you know, striving to be that one person, it brings out that kind of, you know, primal competitive shit. What sports do you play? You said you ran track. That was it, or?
You see, I had ran track, and then I ran track, and I played football all the way up until college. I mean, I played basketball, I played baseball, soccer as a kid, but it was really track and football for me.
What positions you play?
I had played corner.
I bet.
I would have been a nice ass wide receiver if I had hands.
That's usually how that shit goes.
That's what it was.
Corners are the receivers that couldn't catch.
Hey, I mean, look, I like sticking stuff. I always like sticky stuff, but it's just like, man, bro, if I had hands, I would have been out there looking like Julio or something.
What events did you run in track?
In track, I had ran the 200. I did long jump. I did the 4x1 and the 4x2. And I mean, I ran 100 occasionally, but I was like a 200 runner.
Yeah, I mean, those 100, motherfuckers are fast. It's a book. I ran track a little bit. I only ran track for a year, and I played football all 4 years in high school, and I played a year in college. But yeah, that fucking track speed, that's something different. I thought I was fast, and I got out there. I'm like, oh damn, I'm slow. I cannot keep up. 200, I was good. I was all right in, but that 100 was something different. That shit was something different. But, so yeah, I mean, that competitiveness definitely from music, or from sports to music, I feel like it's definitely there. How do you feel like growing up because you grew up in Cleveland too, or how do you feel like that kind of, I guess, shaped your musical taste, or like what your inspiration and things like that? Because I know different people from different regions kind of, they all have their own little different vibes. So, and I'm sure, I mean, you've been down to Florida a few times, no? So
I mean, I'll be honest, this is my first time.
Oh, word?
Yeah.
Oh shit, how you like it so far?
Honestly, bro, I love it. It's vibes out here, man. Like, I done seen hella lizards, bro. Hey, bro, they cool out here. The lizards out, they just chilling, catching the rays, bro. I feel it, bro. It's great out here. I was like, as far as Cleveland shaping my music, I would say, like, I wouldn't necessarily say the city shaped my music. It's more so like, I want to like make my music for the city. Like, I want to be like a positive space for the city. I can say, like, as far as influence, like, if anything, I feel like I'm like California influence more. Like, I feel like I fuck with a lot of West Coast music, Cali type of music. Even what I produce, like, I just like that production style. Yeah. And I mean, even then, I feel like that's a city where it's like, Cleveland folks, like, they gain influence from there too. But I would say, like, it's the same. It's like I said, like, I would want to put something positive for the city. And I feel like Cleveland especially, like, it's tough to do something like that because we're so divided. Like, we have, like, and I mean, I feel like we have the talent, we have the space to do it. I mean, we the home of rock and roll.
Yeah.
But I just feel like we just all separate and disperse, and like we just all fend for ourselves, Yeah. And I just feel like Cleveland's a city where it's like if we all came together and worked together versus against each other, like, we would honestly, we could be bigger than Detroit, bigger than Chicago. We could be rivaling Atlanta, New York type cities. But I mean,
well, that seems to kind of be the issue with places like that. From I've just kind of recently started getting into the music scene in Orlando, the rap scene in Orlando. Like, I've always been a big music head, but I've just never really been tapped in like that. And I met a few people, had a few people on my podcast, and that kind of opened the door for me. But that kind of seems to be the, kind of the same narrative down here, is that, if we could get everybody on the same page, Orlando's music scene would be a lot more popping, a lot more hot. But it seems to be kind of divided, and there seems to be gatekeeping going on and things like that. And again, this is just from what I hear and the little that I know. So it seems to be like that in places that are like right there on the edge, like right there on the fence of like, breaking through. It just, you need to get people on the same page. And I guess if you get the people at the top on the same page, and it's kind of a trickle down effect from there, but that kind of seems to be the issue here as well. So I mean, I can kind of I hear you when you say that shit, and I'm somebody that it's like I said, music is one of the most collaborative things out there. Like there's not too many fields that you have so many different people from so many different walks of life working together to make music, and somehow it's seems to tear people apart, again, especially rap, hip hop, where you got that competitiveness, it's counterproductive in that sense. But, I guess that's just the nature of the beast. But I mean, it's people like, people like you with that mindset, people like me with that mindset that are looking to kind of, fuck that bullshit. Like we're just out here trying to like make music and live. Like there's enough out here for everybody to eat. And I feel like people don't really understand that concept of, you can help somebody else out and both of y'all eat. You might not be the main focus on this project or on this, but that don't mean you can't eat off of this. That don't mean I can't break you off. You can't break me off, and we can't, progress together. It just seems like there is a lot of like feast or famine mentality. Like if I don't have it all, then I ain't got shit. And I don't want you to have it, so I'm gonna take it. I'm gonna try and take everything that I can. And it don't make sense to me. I mean, it doesn't make sense.
I feel like in situations like that, not everybody wants to look at the bigger picture like that.
Yeah, for sure.
Some people that see it as a dollar sign or like, and then that's that. And it's just like, I mean, not everybody's gonna look at or see the bigger picture. And it's just like, it's crazy as it is, but it's just like, I mean, folks greedy, folks will do you grimy when it comes to that cheese for sure. So.
Hell yeah. Well, that shit, man, that money corrupts for sure. But I mean, like I said, it's people with that type of mindset, with the, trying to bring people together, trying to unify. Like you said, seeing the bigger picture, that's really, I feel like it's going to make that difference, because like we've been saying, you can't do shit on your own. You need a team of people. And if you get that team big enough and influential enough, then, that's when you can start making, influencing and making changes and making that positive influence. So, I mean, it's nice to hear that there's, people throughout the country that are, share that same mindset. And that's kind of, how this got brought about, trying to make that Orlando-Cleveland connection. And, the fact that both of these cities seem like they're kind of in a similar spot in the music scene, I feel like, can go a long way in helping, each city respectively kind of, get to that next level and become more of a music hub. Like we've seen, Atlanta did, back in the 90s, and it wasn't what it is today. But now, Atlanta's hip hop capital of the world. Like, you get all types of artists coming out through there, but that came through unity. Most of these Atlanta rappers, you don't really see them beefing with each other. And if they do, they try to squash that shit. So, New York, obviously that was kind of, that's a little bit more, California was a little bit more, more recent, I guess, like 90s with that West Coast shit, NWA, all that, Tupac, and now you see, California rappers stick together. Houston, these Texas rappers stick together. And when you start getting these artists that are, again, like, nah, fuck you, I don't care if we're from the same city. Like, I don't want to see you eat. That's where you get that fucking division and that breeds that if it's not you, it's me mentality. And I'm gonna make sure I eat and fuck you. And, to me, that's no good. There's no progression in that. So, like I said, I feel like it's going to be a good connection for sure. So Cleveland, geographically, that's considered Midwest, right?
That's like Northeast. I mean, it's considered Midwest, but it's just like To me, it's Northeast.
Yeah. I mean, well, yeah, because what I think like geographically, like Northeast is in that's like Maine, Vermont, fucking all that shit. Because what the cities that you said were Detroit, Chicago, Cleveland. So those, I mean, those are definitely, you know, Midwest cities and shit like that. So like, I know you said your influence is more like West Coast and things like that. Do you feel like there is a good mix since there is like, you know, it's kind of in the middle of everything of like East Coast, West Coast type of vibes as far as music, or do you see it leaning more towards like, you know, more West Coast shit, or, you know, or favoring, you know, kind of East Coast, more rap, you know, shit like that?
I mean, I feel like we get a good mix of West Coast, but I would say like what Detroit got going on, like I feel like that's played heavily around here, around Cleveland.
Yeah.
You know, I feel like we influence from that. I mean, I fuck with it.
Yeah.
I fuck with it too. You know, it's just it's something about the West Coast bounce to me, but I feel like, you know, we do get a good mix of both just because we are in between.
Yeah. Word. And what, you know, when you're rapping and shit, I know you say you don't really be rapping about like the guns and all that violent shit and all that. What kind of stuff do you lean towards? Like, what's your subject matter looking like?
Honestly, like I rap about, I kind of, like I said, I go about like my life and my stories. Like I talk about relationships. I feel like a lot of what I talk about is just, you know, motivational. Like I'm like not even gonna get my shit together, but like I'm gonna be on my shit and reach my goals. Like a lot of like motivational, inspirational stuff. You know, like I have my songs where it's just like I'm lit. Like I gotta
talking your shit. Fuck.
Yeah, talk like you gotta have a couple of those out there. But I mean, I just, you know, I had dropped I dropped a reggae joint this past 420, bro. Like I'm fucking with that joint. Like that was like I had told myself, cause like I'm a big stoner. Like I'm a big stoner, so it's just like I told myself.
Hey,
like,
shout out for this. We're about to enjoy this shit later. Fuck.
Hell yeah. But like I told myself, I'm like, man, I gotta get my stoner joint off. So like I done made a reggae joint. That shit sound crazy.
Is it out? Is that already?
Hell
What's
yeah.
it called?
It's called Blaze It.
Blaze It. Bet I'm gonna have to tap into that. How long you been growing your dreads out?
My dreads, I've been growing these for 3 years.
Oh, bet. Damn, that's some good growth for 3 years. Shit.
Honestly, I done had dreads for 6 years, but I had a year where I cut them, and I honestly like I don't know why. I wanted to try something different. I'm like, all right, let me try waves. I ain't tried waves. I'm like, I regret this.
Instant regret.
I regret
I feel like, because I've cut like this, my hair is short now, but I've grown it out. Like this is going to be the 4th time that I'm growing it back out. But every time I cut it, you know, I'll keep it short for a little bit. And I'm like, fuck it, I'm growing that shit right back out. Because I don't know. I feel like there's just something about long hair. Like it just like that energy and the fucking aura that comes with that shit is fucking.
And I like being able to shake my dreads, bro. I ain't gonna lie. that's something that's gotta stay with me.
Shit, no doubt. Damn, 30 minutes goes by quick, huh? We got a little bit of time left. So I know you mentioned, you know, kind of, you know, a couple artists that, you know, inspire you, you look up to, things like that, you know, Drake, Future, guys like that. Is there anybody specifically that, like, when you're making music or producing a song or you're in the booth about to lay down a verse, like, is there anything like I guess what's that process like? Is it like strict, like, you know, obviously, yes, there's inspiration and you're getting stuff from people that, you know, you look up to or that you admire what they're doing, but like, is there a different, you know, when you're going to make a song, is it you try to just go in with a blank canvas, or is it like, oh, I heard this and like I want to try this and try to implement this into what I'm doing, or what's that process like?
So I really say it all depends on the vibe I'm going for. Like I can say, like, you know, today I feel like I woke up and I made a beat. Like I was just feeling good and I made some, like I would say, like try to make something based off of the energy I was feeling. You know, I had an idea in my head, but I had an energy I was feeling too. So I could go about it just off of energy, you know, and that's production, you know.
Yeah.
I would say when I write music, you know, I try to be more intricate. You know, I don't want to be saying no bullshit either. Like what I say, like it has to make sense and it's got to flow too.
Yeah.
So I would say, like, you know, It's really two different vibes for real. If it's something where it's just like I know what I want, I know what the picture is, like I'm gonna take more time. I'm gonna make sure it's more detailed. I'm gonna put more effort into it. You know, I'm not saying like if I freestyle it, it's not gonna be no effort because it's like I think some of the best stuff I've made has just been freestyle. But you know, like I said, like I do it from scratch. Like I really do it all. So it's just like really. I'll say if it's something where it's just like I have an idea, like I'll say for example, my latest drop, Moonlight. You know, it's a joint with me and my homegirl Kidda back at home. Shout out Kidda.
Hey.
But that was something where it's just like I told myself like, all right, like I know like I gotta make something for Kidda. You know, what can we fuck with Kidda? You know, what type of sound would she fuck with?
Yeah.
You know, and then, you know, it came to the point where it's like, okay, like let's try to make a reggae joint for her, you know. That's like it's a challenge for her. It's something different. But you know, it's still like something that she can work with.
Yeah.
So I done put a reggae joint together, and it's just like honestly, like, and I love it. Like I love it. Like when I love a beat, bro, that's when I know it's a banger. You know, not that I don't love all my beats, but it's just like when it's like it was one of them joints.
You just
like,
know.
I'm playing it back to back to back type, and it's just like, man, I got to write into it, and it wasn't even supposed to be my song. So it's just like I ended up making that beat for her, and I sent it out to her, and it was cool at first. Like I said, I had wrote to it. I wanted to get on the song at first, but I'm just like, man, I don't know if this is my song.
Yeah.
You know, I feel like, it could be used for somebody else. So I would say I had sent it off to Kidda, and I got a hook back, and I was just kind of stuck with that hook for a month.
Yeah.
So, and I mean it was cool and all, but I just kept listening to the song. I'm like, man, like this is something. Like this is some heat. Like something's gotta happen with it. So, I mean, that was a moment where it's just like, I really I locked in with my writing. I'm like, all right, let me try it one more time. Let me try again. And I feel like what came out was magic.
Yeah.
It came out magic. It came out way better than I thought, because this was something, it was really a challenge in myself, because it's like it wasn't even something I felt was my style or meant for me. And then I feel like I aced it. It's like really, I feel like challenging yourself as an artist and producer, like that's key to upgrading your sound.
For sure.
Because it's easy to freestyle. It's really easy to freestyle and do whatever. But it's just like when I actually put myself into a different world, into a different genre, that's when I feel like I make my best music as well.
Yeah, I mean, there's that old saying, you got to find comfort in discomfort, because that's where you find the most growth and all that shit. So, I mean, that's a testament to that. You mentioned that, you with this that song that you made, that, you kind of were, damn, like, this is kind of hot. Like, I might want to keep this for myself. Like, how do you determine, like, obviously, I'm sure there's times where, you are making a beat with already somebody else in mind, or they want you to make a beat for them. But, like, has there ever been a moment where you're making a beat and you're like, damn, like, it's going to be hard giving this one away? Like, I can see, like, I know I can spit some shit to this, and, like, you're making it for somebody else, but it's like, oh, like, do I want to give this shit away? Like,
I ain't gonna lie, there's a couple beats in my vault right now where I'm like, yeah, y'all can't touch these mine. Like, it's like, honestly, it's something like I could say, like, man, my brother would tell me like, no, bro, like, this mine, this on lock, and it's just like stuff like that always it's silly to me. But I mean, shoot, like stuff like that, it's just like I don't want just anybody on it.
Yeah.
Either. Like, my guys, I'm generous with my guys, my gang and everything, but it's just like I wouldn't want to just put my beat to anybody, because I have beats and I've had like placements where, I gave a beat out to somebody, I'm thinking it's gonna be tough, and it's just like, bro, like, it's bullshit. This song is bullshit. Like, you ain't put no effort into it. Like, bro, like, my little sister could have gave me a better song than this.
Damn. Does that, I mean, when something like that happens, does it kind of feel like a feeling of disrespect a little bit?
I mean, kind of, yeah, because it's like you're playing with my time. Like, honestly, like, it's one thing if, I have my homies over and we record a bullshit song.
Yeah.
Cause it's like, cause then I'm like, all right, I'm giving you the okay if we recording it, but it's just like, it's another when I'm putting hours of effort into making something magical, and then you just get in there and just spew some bullshit. Like, I mean, then on top of that, it's not even aesthetically pleasing. Like, so it's just like, yeah, I find that extremely disrespectful, and it's just like, I don't know, like, it's a weird thing with like artists and producers, because it's like, it's tough because, I mean, and it comes back to money and greed, but like producers want to get paid, we want to get paid, and I'll say, like, me coming into the game, like, I wasn't even thinking about the money. I just wanted, like, I wanted to make some hard shit. When I learned about the money, I'm like, all right,
even better,
even better for sure. But it's just like I feel like a lot of artists, they don't understand what goes into producing, not producing, engineering, all of this. And it's just like, I feel like they take that for granted too sometimes. Now, I will say too, there are producers out here who are also greedy. Yeah. Like, I'll be honest, like, bro, like, not everybody's trying to buy, not everybody got the money to buy beats for $200. Yeah. Like, if you, like, come on now, like, I get it. Like, if you think you Metro Boomin and all that, I mean, that's fair. If you got the placements, it's like, all right, I get it. Like, you can, if you have the placements, it's one thing to have your prices like that. But it's just like, I never liked, producers telling other producers, like, no, like, just charge it crazy amounts. It's like, you can charge crazy amounts, but are you going to find that customer?
Yeah, I was about to say that. You kind of start pricing yourself out of, the market a little bit, and you kind of have to like play to who's around you and who's getting beats. And, you kind of have to build that portfolio. Yeah, I mean, I think that's also a part of it that gets lost. That, it is a business. Like, you can't just out the gate unless you already know what you have and it's something that is, like, is solid. You can't really you can't just be pricing out the ass like that, because then you're not going to get anybody to get on your shit, especially if you're trying to come up. Like, you need to get people on your shit to get your shit out there and be like, hey, look what I can do. Like, I can make a fire ass beat, I can produce a fire ass song, like. And then that's when you start kind of, you start getting people rolling in. Like you said, now you got people, asking for you, looking for you, kind of, trying to get you to produce one of their songs, because they know you're good for it. But if people don't know you're good for it, then you can't really justify that $200, $300 price tag. So, there is that fine line that I feel like people kind of miss in music or in any type of art, really, because they see it like that. And, I was talking about it with Spazzo, people put different value on art from person to person. One person, and the example I used with that was my chain, like some, it has value to me, but somebody might just see it as a $50 chain and that's it. So, it goes from person to person. So, damn, I had one more question and that shit fucking flew out of my head. Damn it, I forgot it. Tragic. But damn, we already hit 40 minutes, so we'll close it out here. We follow each other on Instagram already?
I'm not sure. I hope my phone didn't die yet.
Yeah, if not, I got a charger. But yeah, I mean, go ahead. I mean, shout out your Instagrams. Plug yourself up. Anything else you want to say before we sign out here? So
it's your boy KTGODUMB. You can find me everywhere _KTGODUMB_. Check out my latest release, Moonlight. KT Kidda got a music video out on YouTube, bro.
Run that shit up.
Fire, going dummy all summer long, bro. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll get each other's Instagram. I'll start reposting your shit so people down here see it. But I appreciate you coming on. I appreciate you guys driving down here all this way and getting on the podcast and shit like that. Hopefully next time, we could, I'll be a little bit better on my time so we can get a little bit more time on the mics and shit like that, get a little bit more in depth. But I appreciate it. Keep on doing what you're doing. I'm gonna check out some of your music after this and really tap into that. So keep on grinding, keep on doing what you do. Everybody love everybody. This is part 2 of episode 219. Deuces.